Good morning. Today I thought I might just do a very quick alignment on this. I'm not going to bore you with aligning it again. I did some experimenting, and the AVC, or the automatic volume control or gain, is not reliable enough on this to align it. It seems to vary too much in comparing with the audio noise that's coming through. The audio's peaking and the AVG's not. So I've decided not to use that. What I have done is I've connected via a capacitor to my analog multimeter. I've put a capacitor in line with this plate out of the 6V6 output valve, and so that'll filter out the DC and just let the AC signal through. I can read that on the meter on the AC scale. Unfortunately, you're still going to have a lot of sound coming through, so it's fairly loud. So I probably won't say anything while I'm doing this. I'll just adjust the cans, the primary and secondary IF cans, and we'll see how it goes. I can probably mute it a bit to spare you the noise. Now, so the screws are on the top there, of course, and on the bottom, quite easy to get to. Little holes in the chassis. There we go. Alright, let's start. I'll turn the radio on. The alignment frequency for this set is 475.5. I don't know if this will work. I'll just try the secondary IF and see if I can get anything better out of it. There we go, it's coming up. And right about there. I don't think I moved it that very far. Yeah, once again. Alright, we'll move on to the primary IF. A little bit out of that one. Okay. And a little bit out of that. We'll just go back and recheck, make sure it's not affected the first adjustments. Okay, so that's as good as that's going to get. Pretty happy that that's right. Now, the other thing to do, I'll turn that off a bit. There we go. So, now the other thing to need to do is align this with the stations. So, on the scale in the front here, there's little marks on the bottom. So there's one there that says I think that's 50. Which one's that? No, it's 600. So there'll be a 600 mark. That'll be a 1500 mark. And I guess that's pointer alignment, that one there. Pointers. Can't even see the pointer. Where is it? Where's the pointer gone? because I've got the, oh, that's at the other end. Okay, that point is pretty good. I'm not going to play with that. So if we put it on 600, yeah, there. So I've lined that pointer up with that. Alright, so the adjustments for that, there's 3. So there's a couple of adjustments here. There's one for the oscillator and one for the antenna trimmer. I'm not sure, actually, it might even be a pad at that one. A bit hard to work out, and I haven't looked at the schematic, so we'll just run with what I think it's going to do. So I've got it set on 600. I'll turn the noise back up. Just to adjust that oscillator. I think it's pretty right, actually. I'm going to tune the radio to 1500. So there's 1500 there. I've got to try and get it. That's about it there. It's on 15. I'll tune this to 15. Nothing. I'll just put that back on 15. That's way out. Alright. See if we can bring it back. Okay, so I've got that. I've got the dial on 15 still. I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's spot on. So I'll run it down to 600 because this will have affected the 600. No doubt of that. Yeah, where are we? Just going to try and line it up. Okay, that's lined up there. And I'll reset this again. Make it 600. Actually, what I will do is just tune that to maximum, just see where it is. Yep, okay. Well, that's exactly 600. So it didn't. Yeah, okay. Whoa, turn that off. Okay, so 1600, it was, sorry, 600 was fine, and 15 it was all right. So that was a very easy adjustment. There is another adjustment on the back wall here somewhere, and that's never been touched. It's still got the telltale paint on it. So I'm assuming that's well, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure what that one is, but we don't need to touch it, so I'm not going to. All right, I think that's pretty much aligned. And I apologise for all the noise. Now it's tuned. I'll just check to see if the stations line up. So I've taken all the test equipment off and I've connected it back to the antenna. So this is our line here in Queensland, or in Brisbane. This line here. So it's got QR, KQ, OG. So I'll just tune it in and see if it's in the middle.
Plenty of one-hit wonders. Classic hits, 4KQ's biggest ever sizzling 70s weekend.
So that's spot on.
Beliefs and activities.
Radio National, spot on. Next one we've got that's the original stations is 4BC.
Rally, Boston Marathon style. They plan to move on to attacks on Jews, police officers, churches, the military facility, Southern California freeways, and the Santa Monica Pier.
4BC there, and it's once again spot on. So that's pretty good. There is another one down the end there, 4BK, I think.
That the internet one way only makes it more dependable.
So there's 4BK there, and that's lined up perfectly. So yeah, it's really satisfying getting that to line up quite so well. Now, one of the issues this set's got is that it's volume control,
Poetry
It's
is
just
the weather,
plain wacky.
the prevailing
Does nothing.
conditions.
That's
When I
turned
learned
fully. That's
recently
off.
that he
So I turn it
too
up.
used
Nothing
Scansian
happened. Nothing
notation
happened.
to meter out prose, I felt, no kidding,
And all of a sudden it
less of a
starts
freak
working.
in the world.
So I've
I
ordered
feel
a new
kinship
one.
with the
It's supposed to be a meg.
unapologetic nature of
I'll
Maloof's
turn that
learning.
off. It's supposed to be a meg, and it's measuring at nearly 2 meg resistance. So there's something going wrong with it. So I've got a new one. I've ordered a new one. It's got a power switch on the back, so I've had to get one with a power switch on the back as well. So hopefully that's coming tomorrow. We'll change that around. Change it over. Now, when I originally opened this, I thought it was Bakelite. It looks like Bakelite. They've made it look like Bakelite to a certain degree, and it's actually plastic. So it's a plastic case. I thought it was Bakelite, but no. So what I'm going to do, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Stay tuned. It's come time to look at how I'm going to repair this case. It's got cracks everywhere. So all up there, around there, it's cracked through here. It's cracked through there. It's cracked through, where is it, there? It's just cracked everywhere. Now, normally, as I said on the first video, I think, I normally would glue this together, then put some thin aluminium sheet that I have, and just back it with the aluminium sheet. But because it's going up here, down here, around there, it's going through this hole here. Sorry, it's not. Yeah, well, that cracks right down to there. So what I thought I might try and do through there as well, what I might try and do is use fiberglass. Now, I don't know if fiberglass will stick to this type of plastic. It probably will. Well, I hope it will. So what I'm going to do is just clean this bit here, just say here, and I'll put a dab of resin on there, fiberglass resin, and let it go off, and we'll see if it's going to stick to the plastic. So I'm just going to coarsen it off with some pretty rough sandpaper. I think I've got a good chance of it sticking to this because it's an older style of plastic. It hasn't got vinyls and things in it, so I should clean this with a bit of acetone. I haven't got it with me at the second, but anyway, this will certainly prove whether it's going to stick or not. So now, so I've got a little bit of fiberglass resin in here. See, it'll certainly go off in the next day, or it might be so hot it'll go off in 10 minutes. So I'm going to stick that on there, just like that, and just see how well it adheres. This has only had a couple of hours, so I'm probably being impatient. It's gone quite hard. Sounds off alright. Don't know if that means anything. It has it glued on. Now it's separating quite easily there, isn't it? No. Okay, that may not be good. So maybe I haven't left it long enough, but it really doesn't look like it's sticking, does it? Okay, maybe I should try something else. I've got some JB Weld and some epoxy filler, so maybe I'll glue a bit on there as well as the fiberglass, and just see in the morning if either one of them is better than the fiberglass resin, and I can, if it's no better than the resin, I suppose I can just go with the resin, which is what I'd hope to use, because I can then shape the cloth. Bit of the JB Weld. Problem with JB Weld is it takes hours to go off. It takes 24 hours to go off. Okay. So they seem to be mixed enough. I'll put that over there. I did sand a bit more on this. Oops. Alright, I'll see. Put some of the epoxy on there. And the JB Weld. My experience has been the JB Weld's better than the epoxy. Alright, well, I'm going to leave that till the morning and see what happens. I've left these overnight to harden, so we'll see how they go this morning. That's the original fiberglass resin, that's an epoxy adhesive, and that's the JB Weld. So this peeled off pretty readily last night, but I hadn't really given it a lot of time to set, so it's still coming off. I've got to push pretty hard to get it off though, I've got to say. This is the JB Weld, we'll give that a shot. Yeah, that, I've got to say that's a far. Yeah, that's not coming off very easily at all. And the epoxy's probably about the same as the, yeah, pretty much. Okay, so the epoxy's not all that flash. I'll just start over here where I haven't damaged it and see if that's, no, that's easily just falling off. Alright, so it looks like JB Weld's the winner there. I've managed to clean up all the old adhesive off the parts, and I've washed them down with some acetone. I'll certainly wash the edges where they join anyway. So I'm going to try and glue this all together and make it as neat as I possibly can, so I don't have to, you know, try and fix it up later when it's a bit sticking out or something. So I'll try and make it as flat as I can and back to something near its original shape. I've mixed up a batch of JB Weld, so I'll get started. These have been drying most of the day, so I guess they've had maybe 8 hours. It's gone pretty hard, so should be okay. We can have a quick look and see how it's come out. See what we got here. Now these masking tape's good because it's got some spring in it, so you can sort of put tension on it as well. And if it sticks to the adhesive, it doesn't matter. I just sand it off or something, whatever it needs. That's come up pretty good. It's pretty level. Good. Not going to be much work there to get it back to flat. So that one's come up very well, happy with that. This one's come up alright as well, nice and level there, all around there, looks good here, nice there, not too bad there, not so good here. It's it's moved after I clamped it, I think. So I'll cut that out and just re-glue it. I'll just get a knife in there and clean it out. So that'll be alright. Okay, 24 hours since I glued this back together, and it fits together quite well. Yesterday I made a plate to go in here just to stiffen this up a bit, and the main reason was this JB Weld is holding really well. It's very hard, and it's gripping. I think it would have been fine by itself. I don't think I really need to put a doubler on, but this area here hasn't come out as well as I'd hoped. So it's got a raised bit there, so I'm going to have to sand that back pretty heavily. So that's the main reason I put the doubler behind it, so I could sand it back without weakening the structure. So the next thing to do is to hit it with some sandpaper and get rid of all, smooth it all out again, and then I'll apply some spray-on putty and see how we go with it. I'm hoping it'll come up pretty good. The areas that are tricky, these areas here where it's got multiple ribs and things in it, it needs that's come out pretty good, so I'm happy with that. So that's, if they'd been out of whack, would have been really hard to get them back to what they should have looked like. So but the doublers come up well, and that JB Weld really sticks, so particularly with this plastic anyway. Unfortunately, I found another crack which I hadn't seen before. I checked it pretty thoroughly, I thought, but there it is there. But, even when I went looking for it again, I couldn't find it for a few seconds. So I'm going to stop and repair that. It's no point going on with that there. So I'll stop now and just glue it together and put a bit of metal in there to hold it. I put JB Weld in there as far as I could get it. It's probably up to about here, but the crack keeps going, so I'm going to put some super glue on the back of it, or crazy glue if you call it that, and that'll weep into that and seal it off. The super glue will stick pretty well to this. Well, there's two halves finished. They've painted up pretty good. I think it'll look pretty good when it's together. So, yeah. Now what I will do first though, is I'm just going to use a bit of automotive cut and polish just to try and take the glossiness off them and make them a bit more plasticky than paint. Because there's so many ridges on here, I can't afford to get too heavy with it because I'll just take it off the edges. So I'm just going to do the larger areas with it to try and just bring it back a little bit. It'll look much better.